Welcome, everybody to Workhorse Wrestling Network. Aftermath of Dynamite. Boom! With the director of Chaos ALW and the Ruby Queen of Workhorse Wrestling Network, Anika. I don't know who WHW is.
That's
Workhorse
workhorse
wrestling.
wrestling.
Hey, what happened to the network? I was like, hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be reviewing and previewing all things AEW, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to start off with Rampage, which you can go back and watch because we saw it on the channel. We had a live watch along. First, with Sammy and Anika running the ship by themselves. You know what? StreamYard has been doing that, been kicking people out and kicking and them. StreamYard has been acting ugly this week on every channel I've seen and been on.
Uh,
We didn't say
Uh,
nothing about her.
Listen, it was Rampage 121 on the 1st of December. We had Danhausen, Hook, and Ernst Cassidy and Trent Beretta defeat Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and the Dark Order, consisted of Alex Reynolds and Eva Uno.
yeah.
We, we had the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fester, and Pow- Powerhouse Hobbs defeat Josh C, Kit Sackett, and Rennie D. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, when you saw that come up, even if you hadn't seen the match, you already know who's gonna win. Okay?
Give us a
You know,
Thursday.
y'all
Keep
can.
going. Keep going.
But
Keep
didn't we
going.
have wait, real quick, real
Okay.
quick.
Mhm.
Didn't we had Saraya backstage with Ruby and NJ before that, right? And Saraya's trying to clown on Ruby. She's like, I need a real partner. Like, ha ha ha. And then I don't understand why Ruby doesn't just fucking punch her in the goddamn throat. Like, come on now. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you're you're not you're not Billy Starks. Like, I kind of understood for a minute why Billy Starks might fall in line with Athena. She's 18. Athena's a
Right.
veteran and a champion. Ruby Soho, I think, is fucking older than Saraya, for Christ's sakes. Like, why are you gonna let this person that's at least your peer, if not younger than you, fucking treat you like she's your mom or something? Like, come on now. Like, it's a little over the top. But
This
and then
what
we had Angelo
happens.
Parker come out, and of course, Saraya's keeping Ruby and Angelo from having a little hookup, right?
You. But that's what happens
Yeah.
when you be losing friends and you be losing matches and you ain't got nothing. I will take this abuse because it's better than being by myself. But hopefully that will evolve into
uh,
something more.
yep. And
Listen,
then we also had him. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lord. I was gonna say, didn't we get Ric Flair and Sting then too, before the Sheeta stuff? Not that we really need to talk about Ric Flair and Sting because there really wasn't much to talk about,
Did
but I mean, it was really just kind of a let's come out, talk about the guys we wrestled, hug each other, and go away, which was kind of okay with me. But I mean, I could have not done it either. I mean, I don't really need that. Like over, they're gonna do.
we?
Is this what we're gonna do for the next 4 months? Just in ring promo every week with the two of them like reminiscing and hugging each other? That doesn't interest me at all.
Listen,
You know what really doesn't interest me? That the top of Dynamite, they had the Woo Energy icon as it comes on the top. Or Andrade having to swing it and just like, that was.
if it
And
pays the
y'all talk about WWE and they matches. At least they try to make it into a theme. Y'all just doing too much.
like, hey, like the fans are trying to prevent this from happening, but it's like it's slowly chugging towards really sports entertainment. But
He
like,
never would answer the question of exactly why he hired Rick. But I think he gave us the answer when he said, well, we're making money and revenue off the Woo Energy. It's like Rick is paying us.
and that's why you need to hire a PR person. But like I said,
You that
that
desperate that you pay Woo Energy, you could have went out, reached out to Red Bull or I don't know, but you went to Woo Energy. That's how desperate you have to be to take money from Ric Flair, a man with a heart condition, selling an energy drink.
hey, for all we know, that energy drink is what's keeping him alive. a bunch of vitamins in the shot of is
Uh,
probably it. A shot of
Listen,
apple cider vinegar.
I just want to say, how many times since Woo Energy has been on there has we seen Rick down the can? But next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hikaru, Chris Statlander, and Sky Blue defeated Anna Jay and the Outcasts again, Ruby Soho and Saraya. Ruby, you are really killing it in AEW.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
She did a commercial where she got spit in the face from the Impractical Jokers. I mean, how bad do it get?
yeah,
We don't.
I mean, go ahead.
Hindsight is 2020. We don't know if she stayed in WWE if it would have been better for her. We don't know. We just don't, right? And to the point of she's taking
Yeah,
all this crap from Sriracha. Hopefully, her and Anna Jay will be friends, and it kicks Sriracha to the curb. But that's why I'm hopeful with the storyline. Number one, they have great chemistry, and I do love it. But number two, hopefully it'll evolve to something a little bit better for her.
I just want to go on the internet and I wish I could make a collage of all the tweets and the messages. First of all, Soraya, she is killing it. She's getting opportunities. She is wrestling. She's out there making it work. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. B, Keith Lee is on top. He is a contender for a championship. He is killing it at AEW. Listen, that's all what y'all been tweeting, and it just ain't happened. Okay.
Now, all right. So with Sriracha, we didn't. She got neck problems, right? But I guess, not really sure how that's affecting her wrestling. But the wrestling sucks. That's not
But they
AEW's
knew she had
fault.
neck problems when they hired her.
What you say?
They knew she had neck problems when they hired her.
But for all they knew, they were like, "Hey, when your neck is cleared, you'll be better." But you not.
That's like you hired Jeff Hardy and you get shocked that he had a DUI problem. Whoa! I knew that was gonna happen. You knew that
now,
was gonna happen.
now Jeff Hardy, we saw in plain sight how that went down. He went through too many tables. Herbal medicine wasn't getting it. He needed a shot of something to get through the day. Now what he did was wrong was get behind the wheel. You should have got your shot of whatever you needed to get through and had an Uber your behind home.
Listen, also I just want to say, people complain about Matt Hardy and saying he want more screen time. I would too. I got knocked unconscious and had to keep it moving, okay, because somebody wouldn't call the match. So yeah, you owe me.
And again, but that's yo dumb behinds. Who the freak puts a freaking table on concrete? Make that make sense.
Listen, it's supposed to be an adult in the room, and obviously that adult is drinking more than Woo Energy. Ladies and gentlemen, El Hijo del Vaquero Commander and Princess El Zero Miller, as I would like to call them, that's the real Spanish announce team, defeated Brian Cage and the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake with Prince Nana in the bar.
This one pissed me off because I really like the Workhorsemen, and they did this whole, oh, why don't you come join fucking Mogul Embassy and blah blah blah, and then fucking Cage walked away 3/4 of the way through the match with Nana and fucking left them to get their asses kicked. I was pissed about that. So
I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, I thought it was still a fun match. I still enjoyed the match, but
like that kind of protected them, but you saw the lineup of this freaking show. It's like if you're bored and you like wrestling, tune in. There is nothing to hype you. There is nothing that is anything related to Dynamite or Collision. It's just a bunch of matches because hey, we got these people.
yeah.
Listen, before we get to Collision on the next day, I want to say, hey, Phil, because I saw you hit a drive by on Twitter. Okay, hey, how you doing? Listen, if I
Before we start Collision,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, before we start Collision, I want to say something real quick. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but the Collision Classic tournament is the best thing that AEW has done in the 5 years of their existence. This tournament
Mhm.
has been so fun, so amazing. The 12 guys, I think it is, the 12 total guys that they put in there, even the ones that you know aren't going to win, you still they're the guys that you think fuck maybe on a rare off chance Tony could get a hair and let them win. Like there's nobody there that you go absolutely couldn't win this, and that's amazing to me. And all the matches so far have been really good, and the way they've helped structure the show in general, it feels like it's given AEW, the company itself, a direction, which is nice. I really enjoy that a lot. So I just wanted to say that I think this is the best thing they've done in their five
Oh
years
no,
of existence.
I couldn't agree with you more. I only have some critiques. I will say when we were on Dynamite, and I honestly would have made this 2 weeks more. I would have made it just 1 month. I don't know, cause like if I don't know when I know Worlds ended on December 30th and it's only December 7th, but it feels like we need more time. We need
We
more
do, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. It could go on forever, and I'd be happy, right? So,
time.
yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with all the wins and losses that have happened so far. It's going to be interesting to see how the whole thing pans out. You know where the numbers are at the moment, but the concept itself and the way it's come off has been great, and the matches have been great. And yeah, as you see, we'll get into them here. Collision had a few,
Definitely,
so
yeah.
That's why I was visibly mad when I was like, I can't watch it live. I want to watch it live. Like, but you know what? I sometimes it's whatever. I got two. We'll talk about. I got two other things to look forward on Saturday too. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, on the next day, 12/2, we had collision number 25. Just forget the end in the middle because I'll start it right there. We'll do it at the end. Uh, this is what irritates me, not the matches. The 45-minute name I got to write for it. The Continental Classic Blue League match. Brody
This
King
yeah.
ended
Why
up
was
with
he
six,
one?
defeating Claudio Castagnoli.
This
I,
why
I,
was
I,
he
do,
one?
you could call it that. I do think that I think by giving it a title, I'm a little confused on what that's going to mean. Like, so when they have that, I mean, it's a belt. So is that going to be then defended regularly, or is it just once a year they're going to do this, and that's when the belt is defended, and you have a new winner, or because you G1, there's no belt. It's just you get bragging rights for winning the
Yeah.
G1. You won the G1. Like, like with the Owen Hart stuff, they could have just given a trophy, but they gave a trophy and a belt. The belt was never
Mind you,
defended, so I'm assuming
this
it's going to be something similar to that. I mean,
am I right? And I'm assuming I am. There are three belts on the line, right?
there are,
The New
there are,
Japan
there are.
one and
I'm
the
just talking about.
ROH one.
I'm just talking about the Continental Classic belt, though, myself, just because I'm curious if
Um,
it means it's going to be defended during the rest of the year between the tournaments, or if
I
it's
think
simply it sits on your shelf until the next tournament, and then you essentially defend it one time a year at the tournament.
it's the Owen Hart one where like
Okay.
that Continental belt is just 1 year when the Continental Classic comes back.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
happened to we were going to have a belt that was going to be more traveling?
Mhm. And
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's almost what I thought he was going to try to do with this, which would be kind of odd. I mean, I think it as much as I like this tournament, if you only do it once to bring this belt in, and then the winner just it just becomes a normal belt that just gets defended, whatever, and maybe you do this again, maybe you don't. That's a little disappointing, right? Like, um, because you already had that with the all international champion, or whatever it is, whatever the Orange Cassidy belt is that never goes to anybody that travels at all that should be traveling, right? So I mean that's what that belt was supposed to be to begin with. So why do we need another one? So that would be weird to me. But
but you know what? That's probably why they added the ROH one and the New Japan one because the kind of the classic will probably be yearly, but they're like, we do need. It would be nice if after this someone is a champion and it furthers their
yeah,
career more than just 1 year. So like that's probably why
yeah,
they added both times.
yeah,
Again, New Japan gonna take their title back eventually. And now that WWE is trying to eke into the market over there, they're gonna see the benefit of working with them. Ladies and gentlemen, Abaddon, my
Oh
favorite
wait,
creepy
can we
girl,
I'm
defeated
saying, can we
Kiera.
talk about Brody King, Claudio?
we didn't talk about when you talk about the C1?
Oh yeah, we didn't actually talk about
Okay.
Brody King and Claudio.
All right, so I'll be short and sweet. It was three times in this whole tournament that I think one of these matches should have been a draw. This was one of them because it was big. It wasn't steak meat. It was chicken meat, but it was still a big old hoss fight. I loved every minute of it. Gosh, I am glad that Brody King won, but this could have ended in a draw, and I would perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation for me because I both guys I really like. I think Brody King has proven now, especially in this tournament, that he needs more TV time. He needs more time in the ring. However you do that, but yeah, he's a beast. Claudio is Claudio. We know what we get with Claudio, right? Like he's at the top of the pile as far as wrestlers go. I, I'm a little surprised. I was a little surprised Brody King got the win here. I do like that he can get the wins here and probably still not advance per se, but have a couple big wins during this tournament because he's not going to be the one coming out of that block. In all reality, probably not. I mean, or that league. Um, even though it's viable and he's got a lot of points, it's realistic. I don't think that that's probably going to happen. So, but yeah, no, this is a big win for him, and I like the way that they've done this. I thought this match was put together really well.
Most definitely, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite creepy girl, Abaddon, defeated my favorite um worker, Kiera Hogan.
Period.
Kiera Hogan killing it in AEW.
I fucking tripped out for a half a second at the end of the match when fucking Julia Hart appeared. I swear it looked like Abaddon turned her whole fucking head. Like it looked crazy for a minute. Like the way she shifted her head, it looked all Exorcist style for a minute. I was like, oh hell no, this bitch is on some other shit. But yeah, no, I mean, I Kiera Hogan and Abaddon I thought was an okay match. I'm really here for Abaddon and Julia Hart. That interests me a lot. I think that kind of got my needle going a little. So I'm glad to see Abaddon get a little bit of a push and
Yeah,
at least a program
yeah.
against the champ. I mean, so I mean that's good for her. It'll be a loss, but at least it's a match. You know what I mean? And a chance to
Per-
see her more. I like her look a little bit better now. I think she looks a little bit more palatable for what it's worth, but still has that creepy look. She
for
doesn't look
sure.
quite as like disgusting as she
Oh
did
no, no.
before. Like,
The stuff coming out her mouth was a lot.
yeah, yeah. So I think she's a little bit easier on the eyes now. So maybe that's why she's whatever. But no, I've always liked Abaddon. So and I'm definitely here for her and Julia Hart. I think that's cool.
No, no, no. It feels like a no brainer. I will say this, Kiera Hogan, bro. I like. Why was you not doing this when you was part of the baddies, or who was not letting you wrestle this well when you was part of the baddies? But I digress. Whatever. Uh, like you, I'm glad they're adding the bodies to the women's division. I will say this: I am kind of over the whole "I'm gonna win one match and then go for a title." Like, can we have an actual program? Let them win three matches. Let them hunt like an actual story or an actual program, not just like one beat it and done. And now I'm going for the belt.
Yeah, I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Continental Classic Blue League match, Andrade El Idolo uh, left with 3 points, defeating Daniel Garcia.
Solid match again. This tournament has been a lot of fun. I don't think anyone really thinks either of these guys are probably going to win this, but they're solid workers that provide really good matches. And for a round robin tournament like this, where you've got to watch guys wrestle 3 or 4 times, against different
Yeah,
people, these are two guys I enjoy wrestling or I enjoy watching wrestle. So, and together they got good chemistry. I thought it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
As usual, we've got Daddy Magic somewhere in the vicinity, and this time he was on announce. He was at the announce table yelling at Daniel Garcia not to
Don't
dance. So I like that story. I kind of like the ongoing, Menard Daniel Garcia stuff with the dancing. That always makes me laugh. So no, this was fun. This was good.
Cause like you said, even if they don't win, the story within this tournament hopefully will project into the next level. Like, I feel for Daniel Garcia because it's like, what is the right answer? I was dancing, I lose. I wasn't dancing, I still lose. So what are we doing? What is the answer? Because Garcia, it shouldn't be losing like this.
Yeah, No, I agree. I'm surprised that Daniel Garcia is still sitting at 0 points, but we'll see. I mean, he's got a few more matches. He'll end up winning a couple, I assume, at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
The Kingdom with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, with Roderick Strong in their corner, defeated Iron
30.
Savages, Boulder
hold on,
and
real
Bronson.
quick though. But before that, we had the best segment of the night with our boy Willie Mack challenging Wardlow to a match. I'm here for that. I want to see Willie Mack kick the shit out of Wardlow. Somehow I don't think that's going to happen. I have a feeling Wardlow's going to just destroy him. But
I
I
don't
want to.
know.
I hope Willie Mack kicks the shit out of him.
Like Warlow's definitely gonna win, but that's gonna be a meet. That's gonna be a hoss fest. It ain't gonna
I
be
hope so.
easy.
Yeah. I hope they let Willie do something.
Okay, it shouldn't be easy. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the Kingdom and Iron Savages. I didn't really have anything to say about that. Obviously, Roderick Strong is still fun. You know,
Yeah.
the screeching and the yelling at everybody might
Yeah.
I said this last week. At some point it could get a little much, but and the more he does it with like Renee, everybody, it's like okay, like
Yeah.
when it was just Adam, it was one thing, but now it's I don't know. But yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm every time I see them, I'm becoming a little softer on Matt Taven. So he's growing on me a little bit. So um, the Kingdom was good here. I thought the Kingdom was good here. I like the Iron Savages, but I understand why the Kingdom won. So
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next match was the House of Black defeating Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal.
yeah.
This was
Um, These guys, so Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal had a few matches on Ring of Honor as a tag team. They've been wrestling there for a while, and now they got
okay.
what I consider like a big match against House of Black. I mean, obviously they're not champs or anything. It's not a title match or anything, but it's quite a jump up from where they were on Ring of Honor, at least kind of at the bottom of Ring of Honor TV on a regular basis. But I love them both. I mean, they're both veterans, and they work well together. I like Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black together, and yeah, this was a fun match. I mean, House of Black won as they should, and I enjoyed it.
Like I think someone said it best. This had no business being as good as it is because you knew House of Black was gonna win, or like you at least put 75% on them, right? But it was great because of course it's Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels, right? But I am
Yeah,
very glad that House of Black got the win, and then afterwards they called out
yeah,
FTR. Malachi
FTR.
Black finally got on the mic. And why had it been this freaking long? Because he's great on it. He was like, "Are you gonna join?" I'm like, "Wait, hold up, time out. When we had this conversation,
Right,
we're gonna join." Did
right.
we miss a collision where y'all had this conversation? And so he was
I
like,
was like, for a minute, I was like thinking in my head when he first said that, I was thinking, how dope would that be? Like, that'd be a hell of
"See,
a faction if FTR joined House of Black. Like, and then I started thinking to myself, you could just bring everybody in, like, just make a new Bullet Club or a new NWO where like you got like 20 guys and just start with FTR and just this huge House of Black faction. Obviously, that's not what happened. As they attacked FTR, and now it's setting up for a match between the FTR and House of Black, which I'm fine with. I mean, but yeah, for a second there, I was like, how cool would it be if they just created like a new huge faction and FTR was the first ones to join? And yeah, but
just for a little while, yeah." But yeah,
right,
yeah.
all right. Then we
Ladies and
had
gentlemen, this
okay,
match was El Hijo de Vikingo
But I
versus
can go
Kip Sabian.
yeah,
again. This match had no business being good. Kip Sabian's great. I'll say that.
yeah. I mean, I think the only thing that probably keeps Vikingo from being in the conversation for best wrestler is just we probably don't see him enough, and his moves are so that sometimes they kind of look a little clunky just because he's doing so much that they don't always come off 100% great. But
Going
man,
over.
the dude is amazing, and Sabian, yeah, Sabian's a good wrestler too. I mean, I really enjoyed this match. Like you said, I had no business being as good as it did. Um, I it doesn't surprise me that Vikingo is the AAA champion. He's a really fucking good wrestler. Very rarely do you see the same thing from him twice. I mean, he'll do the same kind of stuff, but it's never exactly the same. And just his fluidity and his high flying ability is just yeah, it's insane. So I enjoyed this a lot. I like Vikingo. So
Good stuff. a very good match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last match of the night, the travesty of it all. The Continental Classic Blue League match. Brian Danielson earned 3 points by defeating the champion who put his belt on the line, Eddie Kingston. What kind of story is this? Because I know whoever wins this ain't gonna go to New Japan. And this is what pisses me off. They're gonna end up losing to somebody who come over here for a one-time moment. It irks the fuck out of me, okay? Because I know Eddie Kingston should win this, but he's not.
Now, Miss D, you know that Danielson is not gonna lose his first match in this C1. You like, why would you hype yourself up for that? Not even okay. I want to. So I said it was
Danielson is not
three.
gonna defend this title. And if he does, it's gonna be against Okada. And if Okada wins this belt, I am going to scream. A man who is beloved in the company, almost like the president, has now resulted himself to a second-rate belt from AEW.
It's a story, and like I said, we knew Danielson was gonna win his first match. Him winning the whole C1 is up in the air, but we all knew he was gonna win the first one, right? But like I said earlier, it was three matches that could have ended a draw. I've been all right with this. This was the third one. So I'm like, it was like, why someone has to lose? Let's just let them both get at 1 point, right? Because it was great, and I love the animosity, real or fake, between Danielson and Eddie Kingston. But I will say this: Danielson, that last thing was unnecessary. You did not have to get the sign and leg on top of Eddie. That was unnecessary.
Ladies and
Yeah, I mean,
gentlemen, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say this one hurts my heart because I love both these guys. I don't want either of them to have to lose. You know, the reality is that I'm a huge Eddie Kingston fan. I've been for a long time. I was on the Eddie Kingston bandwagon when he was in Evolve, way before he came to WWE. I've been watching him in the Indies for a long time. He's been my dude for a long time. I think he's a really great promo. I think he's a solid wrestler. I don't. Brian Danielson may be the greatest wrestler ever. There's a solid argument for that. And in that regard, he should be beating Eddie Kingston as much as I don't want to say that. Like there, if you have 10 matches, Brian Kingston or Brian Danielson should win 8 or 9 out of those 10 matches. He just should. I mean, that's why he's the GOAT. That's why we talk about him as being the best on the planet. He should be like that against almost anybody, unless it's a Will Ospreay or a Kenny Omega or an Okada, someone else we're talking about as being, potentially a best ever, right? Where Eddie Kingston isn't really in that conversation. He's an emotional favorite, right? He's one of those guys that you love with your heart, but he's an underdog. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it bothered me that he put his titles on the line here. I don't think he's retaining them, and I don't think he's winning this tournament. And it does frustrate me a little because I do see what Dolores is saying. Whoever wins this is probably a transitional champion going into Japan for that belt at least, and that's a little disappointing, especially depending on who ends up winning it. Like she says, if it's Okada, then I don't really care. Okada can take a lower belt and he can whatever, but he's Okada too. I mean, it's like putting the belt on Gunther, right? So like the IC belt on Gunther, if you put a lower belt on Okada, he's just going to raise its state. He's just going to raise its prestige, right? Because he's Okada. So it'll become a premier belt because it's on him by default. And that's just the stature he has in wrestling at the moment. So, I don't know. But yeah, I mean this one was tough. But at least Eddie had a really good match. Danielson always gets the best matches out of guys, right? I mean, that's why he's the best, right? So not just because of what he does, but because of what he pulls out of his opponents, right? So, yeah, I love this. I thought this was great, and as much as it hurts my heart for Eddie to lose, Brian Danielson should be beating Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. And so it's not the end. It's not the end.
No,
I'm not sure if it was on Twitter or YouTube exclusively, but of course Eddie Kingston's gonna give out a hyped up promo after this. He's like, all right, you just gave me what I needed to kick everyone's behind and win this whole doggone thing. So hopefully he
Listen,
goes rough shot and at least make it to the semifinals.
listen, as um, I'm looking into my crystal ball, and I'm telling you, That ain't gonna happen.
I,
That ain't gonna happen.
so
That ain't. I'm try. Believe in me. If you don't believe in me before, believe in me now. I can tell you that ain't gonna
so like okay, for I think it's gonna be Danielson versus Swerve. I'll put 75% on it because there are factors in here that could make it something else. Like what's about on Dynamite? What's about Dynamite?
happen. Do you think Danielson is gonna lose a match in this tournament?
Well, here's the thing. So he's working with one eye and one arm. Sure, he's still killing it, but once we'll kick to one of them things, and so all right, so we're gonna like if you don't want any spoilers, you got a minute to to mute your TV. Don't turn it away. Don't turn it off. Just mute it. 3, 2, 1. They pre-taped the match of Collision, and in the match, Danielson is bleeding from his eye. He's fine. He's all right. It's for the story. He's bleeding from his eye. So if he can't see nothing, he can't win. Like I said, those kind of factors can lead to a justified loss, and maybe him not winning this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great thing about this kind of a tournament with the round robin structure, is where you can have a guy like Danielson potentially take a loss because of, in the moment something's happened, blah, 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 but still end up winning the whole thing because it's all about points, right? So you
Yeah.
could take a loss here or there and still end up, as long as you win the bulk of your matches, you're still going to come out of the block. So I like that. And, it's a way to protect people and make them still look strong even in losing. As long as you don't end up with 0 points, as long as you get some points, at least it's respectable, right? So I don't know. I mean, I'll be
He's
honest
gonna
with you.
put
We'll
out
talk about it when we come to Dynamite, but
his next two matches we'll be previewing is Rampage. He faced Daniel Garcia. Collision. He
yeah,
faces Andrade El Idolo.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
hey,
and both. Yeah, I mean, the reality is that he's probably, definitely the strong favorite in both of those matches for sure.
yeah.
But that's why they do these matches. And even though we all know, they know backstage who's going to win. I don't know, right? I don't know. Like you can, if it's pre-taped, obviously someone can know. But I mean, until it's done,
I
I don't
believe
know who's going to win. So as far as I'm concerned, that's why they still do this because in theory, Danielson could lose. I mean, I don't think he's going to lose to
Danielson
either
and this
Daniel Garcia
Impact
or Andrade,
thing
but you never know.
and him being um coming coming from the back of the pack kind of thing. That's not gonna never work. I needed somebody who's willing to go over to New Japan and do the work.
No, I
Like
agree.
I
And
said,
Kingston did that. He did that repeatedly. And even did that and kept up with AEW commitments. Nobody else is gonna do that.
like
Well,
I
I
said,
think there's one person that might, and I don't like the idea of him winning, even though he's already at 9 points. I think John Moxley would do that. I think Moxley's the kind of guy that would go over and defend that
yeah.
title and carry
I
it
mean,
proudly. I don't necessarily want that, but I think he's the one guy in the tournament that could definitely, other than Kingston, that would uphold that schedule and go over and do what he needs to do for New Japan.
I'm
Like I
gonna say this in an
like I
allegedly
said,
fashion. I think he's interested in expanding his family. Okay, the family might be getting a little bigger. Okay, so that whole hanging out in New Japan thing like he used to do when he only just had his wife just had a kid and just you know how it goes when you go from one to two that
Right.
gets a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
yeah. All right.
No, I mean, I think that's one of the things that makes this tournament so interesting, right? Because there's so much on the line. It's not just the new Continental Classic belt, whatever that means, but there's these two other titles on the line that definitely have day-to-day ramifications in the world of New Japan and Ring of Honor. And so it's like, well, what's going to actually happen here? Who is the person that's going to come out of there with those two belts and be able to defend both of them and carry them? I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Like I said, I have 75% on Swerve and Danielson, but it's not 100. Anything can happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would take Andrade El Idolo. Uh, I would like to see that in Swerve more than I would like to see. Like Brian Danielson, I mean, wrestling tells us if you already have a beef with somebody, that's the beef you gonna go with. You can't just either you gonna win the title and have a beef, or you just gonna have a beef with this person and y'all gonna fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we went over Rampage, and because I was a little late with it, that is our ratings for Rampage, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. So yeah,
They're not going down.
they ain't going up either.
Hey.
ladies, and, ladies and gentlemen, Collision did a little bit better. Did a little bit better.
Slow and steady wins the race. Come on.
But, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen.
Dynamite.
And with Dynamite, they didn't quite do what they wanted. But
Hey,
at
they
least
got
they,
close to a million. 823 isn't bad.
yeah,
Hey.
they've been close. I don't know what happened. I can surmise what happened, but, you know, maybe they don't have no
When
adrenaline in their soul.
was the basketball
Uh,
on last Wednesday?
huh?
Was the basketball on last Wednesday?
No, that was from Wednesday this week.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like yesterday, was the
Last night. From
basketball
last
on?
night.
Yeah, last night.
The
Probably. There's basketball on every night. I mean,
basketball
I know the
hasn't
Warriors
been
played
like
last
it.
night, but
Yeah.
um,
Listen, I
here's the
try
thing,
not
right?
to.
I say this. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I don't. The Warriors, they they've been kicking butt. So I try not to rub my victories in people's face.
Eh, like I've said before, and I'll say it again. We know WWE is a juggernaut, right? They've been the sole, basically the sole mainstream major wrestling company for the last 50 years. Their numbers are where they are. It's not a surprise where they are. AEW, after 5 years, shouldn't be touching their numbers. If they were, then WWE is doing something very wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with these numbers. Would it be awesome if they were doing more? Of course, it'd be great if AEW was doing 2 million on Dynamite and a million on Collision and 750 or a million on a Rampage. But we already know Rampage being pre-recorded is never going to do that. They've been pre-recording more collisions than I thought they were going to, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they spend the bulk of their energy really is in Dynamite, and that's their workhorse show, which does regularly between 8 and 1 million, sometimes over. And I don't think for, like I said, a company that's only been around for 5 years, I don't think that's a problem. I mean, especially in this world now, WCW did a lot better at the time because it was only those two. There was no real
Mhm.
internet. There was no other, what I'm saying, where you can go like
Small
now,
companies.
you can
Yeah.
watch everything else and never have to pay attention to any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't have a problem with what they're doing. And again, AEW is not, yes, indirectly Tony Khan because he has an ego. He's a wrestling company. He wants to beat WWE, obviously. But I don't think that when it really boils down to it, that's what's important to him, or it's not important to the channels. What's important to the channel is where he's rating in comparison to other stuff on the channel and in time slot. And AEW always does well. So that's all that really matters, right? As long as the TV channel says you do better than what I would put here at a normal time, then we'll put you there, and that's all that really matters. So, and that's what they've been doing. So,
I think when it comes to the numbers, it's like NXT is coming dangerously close to matching the same energy of your main brand.
yep,
It's already thumping your two secondaries, but
yep.
it's like at what point do you need to? You used to do good. I used to be like, I can't not miss this. I cannot miss Collision, but I can miss some other shows. I can catch up very quickly.
Listen. So
Um,
like 2020, 2023 has been a very difficult year because of emotional crackheads and stuff and storylines that had to be cut off and restarted up. So they definitely allegedly. I said allegedly. But yeah, so hopefully 2024 they're gonna be on fair ground. So like no matter what, win or lose, it's what we wanted to do. There was no interference or of the highest possible case, right? So like you said, after all that, 800,000 viewers, that's not bad at all.
I don't think so.
And I think
Uh,
they just need to go back to what the plan they started off with. And as far as what Adika said, that's what, that's what she's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Uh,
Emotional.
last night, starting off was the Continental Classic Gold League match with John Moxley getting 9 points at the end of the night. He had 9 points at the end of the night by defeating Roosh by a referee's decision.
Bruh, this was very
yeah,
hard hitting to the point of it's like I get it's a tournament and there's points on the line, but bruh, they were taking a whole lot of liberties. Like y'all been outside the ring for more than 10 seconds. Now you the freaking the stands with the fans, you with water bottles. Isn't that a disqualification? Like I get it. It's Moxley versus Rouge. So you expect something hard hitting. But it's like, let's bring it in. Let's bring it in just a little bit. But it was great. It was
Ladies and gentlemen, after that, we had a Jay Lethal and a Jay White pre-tape promo. And then we went to commercial and came back to what? A next strong promo. Okay? How did
first
you
thing
all feel about these things?
first thing first. AOD had anything to say about the first match or you good?
uh, I was I was listening to AEW Ramble this morning on True Hill Heat, and I really, I think, whatchamacallit summed it up perfectly. SP3 called Moxley a bar fighter that takes an MMA class, and that's kind of like what you get. Like he's like this everyday guy that's just like the tough guy you don't want to step in or bump in the bar because he's taking a couple MMA classes and he might whoop your ass or probably whoop your ass. But like, there's not. The more I watch Moxley, the more I kind of see what people are saying that there isn't, and I think he can when he really wants to, but generally he's just kind of straightforward striker and go. There's not a lot of technique. There's not a lot of, and it can kind of get a little stale a little bit. I think some of that has happened here. I don't know if he needs a break. I don't know if he needs to switch up his wrestling style a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I do think that we're starting to take that John Moxley a little for granted to a certain extent. It's like people are getting a little tired of it when they really shouldn't be because it's still amazing. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think he's suffering a little bit from that. But this match was fun. I mean, I do have an issue with Moxley being at 9 points when a lot of other guys either have zero or whatever. I mean, again, I like Moxley, and don't get me wrong, he was our workhorse wrestler of the year last year, and I think it was pretty unanimous. But he hasn't had the same year this year, and I think that I don't know. I feel like there are other guys that could have benefited from wins here more than John.
I don't know what you're talking about. I still like Moxley. He's like take you took a break from him, but he likes wrestling. So you watch something else while he on television and then come back. It's still great.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no doubt, no doubt, still great.
But yeah. So I was like I did like that definitely makes sense. The whole him a bar fighter to the MMA class, but he's still doing those suicide dives and everything. So it's like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want to do more, fine. I guess it depends on who he's going against as well, maybe. But
sure.
yeah, I
Yeah.
still enjoy it.
Now and then the
But
stuff with the kingdom. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
oh yeah, so we'll talk about you know what Jay White and versus Jay Lethal talk about more because I want more for Jay Lethal. So we'll talk about that later. And think about we talked about this earlier with Roderick Strong, right? He the yelling is hilarious. Are we close to the end with it? Nah, maybe a little bit, but it's still hilarious. And like you said, him with the kingdom is great. I think for me, can we get a actual program now? Like, cause I don't know, like this whole double thing is gonna probably end on December 30th, right? But I'm not sure how much of a role they're gonna play in it once they reveal who the double person is, right? And so if MJF is hurt, just take the belts off of him and just let them rock out on ROH.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. I mean, I thought it, I like the stuff with the Roderick Strong stuff. I love the whole the wheelchair was holding him back for too long, and how he's out of the wheelchair.
Renee,
Yeah, this has been one. This is the best character stuff he's done, I think, in his career for sure. At
yeah,
least that I'm privy to the career that I've seen. So, yeah, no, I mean, I like the Kingdom stuff. I don't know, I don't know if the Kingdom. They probably are. I mean, I'm trying to think if the Kingdom feels like a strong enough team to be AEW Trios champion. I mean, that title has cooled off so much that probably, yeah,
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, but I mean, they feel more like a Ring of Honor. They feel like a real
most
top notch Ring
definitely,
of Honor team, which isn't bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
right?
So I guess we'll end up seeing where this ends up going. But yeah, no, I enjoy this stuff at the moment. This is very fun.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hangman Page was cutting a promo about Swerve Strickland
Really?
when MJF came up because they were in front of MJF's locker, and they had a his backstage like argument where Heyman was like, "Tell me the truth," and MJF was like, "You don't really want the truth," and then he started giving it to him, and he got upset. So Samoa Joe had to step in because he saw it was about to go left. Ladies and gentlemen, when you see some stuff about to go left, you always gotta step in. If not, they gonna get to fighting and scrapping. So MJ,
This
I,
Samoa Joe's like, not today, because I'm gonna defend these belts. But we're gonna get into that later why that didn't happen.
this was interesting. It definitely came out of nowhere, but I am into it, right? Uh I know people don't like when they start another feud somewhat before they finish the other one, right? Because we definitely need to focus on Samoa Joe versus MJF, and that in that instances, that's probably why people were down on MJF versus Jay White because you already went to the next phase of the story before ending it with Jay White, right? So I definitely get it. But like I said, this was very interesting. Don't think Heyman's a devil at all. But I know why they're doing it because people are probably getting too close to who the devil actually is. So let's just throw them off. But this was a great way to throw people off.
yeah, I mean, this is fun, obviously. The idea is that as champion, you have the target on your back and everybody's gunning for you, right? And Tony
Yeah,
Khan is leaned into that full force with this MJF run, right? Because everybody has declared their shot. So we had Jay White, and that feud was kind
mm-hmm.
of overshadowed by Samoa Joe, and
A little
then
bit.
Samoa Joe's now being overshadowed a little bit by Hangman. But in the meantime, we still have Wardlow, who
That
came
part
in
is the
between
cut.
Samoa and was like, "I'm coming for you, MJF," and then Adam Cole, who is his partner, but when he's healthy, is still
Yeah,
coming for that title. So it's like, you know what I mean? They've done a good job of making you feel like he just has endless pressure. He can't get ever out of the pressure cooker.
yeah.
MJF, there's no moments off for MJF at the moment. As soon as
Hey,
one person's been pinned, the next person's right there ready to just, it's my shot. You know what I mean? And so I do like that,
yeah.
but I do think you're right. I mean, it does kind of overshadow a little bit. Um, this was fun though. I mean, these two have decent chemistry. MJF has good chemistry with anybody at this point.
I think so.
Samoa Joe coming out to save him always makes me laugh. So Samoa Joe playing the good guy anytime makes me laugh. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, I thought this was fun and this was good
Like
stuff,
not even a good guy, like a parent. Like, bruh, stop
right?
like
Yeah,
Connor, get your behind over here. We have better things to do.
right.
Stop fighting people on the playground.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up, was the Continental Classic Gold League match. Swerve Strickland versus Mark Briscoe, and Swerve Strickland was your winner, who is now at 9.
I don't know why I didn't think I mean it wasn't like it wasn't like I ever thought to myself, oh, Swerve Strickland and Mark Briscoe wouldn't be a good match. But I never thought to myself, oh, I need Swerve Strickland and Mark Briscoe. And after I saw it, I was like, I need this again and again. Like these two killed it. I mean, Swerve right now is in his bag. He hasn't had a bad match in a while. It's been a long time
Yeah.
since he's had a bad match. Everything he's doing right now is coming off gold. All of his promos, he's in that perfect promo cadence at the moment where he's coming across creepy and threatening and it's believable and all that stuff and every promo is working at the moment and all of his matches are hitting on all cylinders. This was a really really good match. I enjoyed this from beginning to end. Mark Briscoe can really go. I want to see more of him on a regular basis. Yeah, I don't got nothing bad to say about this at all.
I agree with all of that. I really like because we know what the end should be with Swerve, right? But I am interested in what's going to happen next with Mark Briscoe. Like you said, he was good. I love how he actually slowed down the beginning of the match. He's like, I'm gonna turn up just a little bit at the end." And so, told you everything you said. I want more Mark Briscoe on my TV with wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the match, Samoa Joe hit the ring to get ready for his tag bout with MJF against the Devil's Henchman, only for a video to reveal MJF had been attacked backstage.
With a beer bottle. Like,
Yeah, this is yeah, I mean I'm starting to believe the longer this goes that MJF is actually the devil or pulling the strings on this. I'm starting to I don't know why. I don't know that I necessarily like that answer. I don't know that I
I
hate
know
it,
I
but I don't know
don't.
that I like it. I guess it depends on how they ultimately reveal it and what they do with it. But for some reason, it feels more and more. The longer this goes on, the more and more that's the instinct, guys. That's a gut feeling I'm getting. I kind of hope I'm wrong, but that's the feeling I'm getting. I hope it's Adam Cole. That would be so much fun, but I don't think it is. It seems like the type of thing that MJF would do, and so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Listen, if he's a devil, somebody take him out of it and choose someone else. Because I'm interested in him being the devil. Now, I will
Yeah.
say this. After after Samoa Joe saw the video, I like dang it, and he had to go get his behind up. Like hopefully next week he's like, you're not leaving my side. I don't think you understand me, boo boo. We're having this match at World's End, come hell or high water. But that was funny to me. Um, it makes sense though because he did get hip surgery or his hip got back into place, so we don't really know how much mobility he has to do an actual match or a good 10-minute match, right? So it makes
Right.
sense to hopefully he'll be better by December 30th.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up, Swerve Strickland confronted Moxley before Excalibur let us know that next week, during Winter is Coming, they will face each other.
Mm. Oh yeah. Is that that's a gold block match? Yeah. A
It's
gold league match. Yep.
come on. If if you're tired of Moxley, how can you like you can't tell me you're not excited for this
Oh, I
match,
am excited. I am
right?
excited,
No,
and
no,
I
no,
think.
not you. I'm just saying
Oh.
other people who
Oh
really
yeah yeah
are
yeah yeah.
down.
Right. No, I mean I'm excited for this match. I think it should be fun. I hope Swerve gets the win. I like Swerve coming out of that the gold league just because he's so hot at the moment and everything he's doing is so great. But there's an argument for Moxley. There's an argument for. I mean, I'm not looking at the list now, but there's an argument for almost probably everybody on the list. I mean, viable arguments. So
Like I do want it. I'm waiting for the draw. I'm waiting for a credible draw to be in this. Like, cause you have that point system for a reason, right? It has to happen once.
sure.
So I would think it would
Yeah, and you
fit
have the
that,
20-minute
right?
time limit for a reason, right? I mean,
Right?
20 minutes when you've got these good of matches, 20 minutes in theory isn't that long. So,
Yeah. Like, use these rules to tell more stories in this tournament.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up was for the AEW Women's World Title, Tony Storm, accompanied by Luther and Mariah May, defeated Sky Blue, but that wasn't the most fun part of the match. Riho returned. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what haven't we said about Tony Storm? Her promo was awesome before this match. Um, she was great. Um, she had to take what's her name's shoe because she didn't have any shoes on. Um,
Renee.
you
Yeah.
know, Renee's shoe. No, I
Becky
mean,
Lynch. Yeah.
we've talked about this. I've said this numerous times. Tony Storm is in her bag at the moment with this character. She's happy. She's feeling herself. You can tell it because it's perfect. The stuff with Sky Blue has come off well. You know, I've never been the biggest Riho fan, but I mean, I'm not disappointed to see her back. I mean, I don't have a problem with her being back. I like Sheeta better, but Rio's fine, and it'll be a good match. I assume it's going to be her and Tony Storm will be the next big thing. I do like the idea of Mariah May kind of coming in with Tony Storm.
Hmm.
A lot of people aren't familiar with Mariah May, and I think that this gives them a chance to kind of see her with somebody that they are familiar with. So I'm interested
Yeah.
in that. See where that goes. So yeah, I like this overall.
Like, for me, you don't think she can do any more with this story, but then she does more. The whole introduction with the Ted Turner dude, I'm like, this is
Right?
if you ever seen TBS in the 90s, this was perfect and it was so good. That was perfect setup of a Friday night movie on TBS. I love that. And then this new thing where she's on Luther's shoulder and like Luther, and he's running to put his opponent onto the post. I'm like, that is hilarious, right? And so she's just getting better and better and better. And so
Yeah,
yeah.
couldn't
Ladies and
agree.
gentlemen, for the Continental Classic Gold League match, we had Jay versus Jay, White versus Lethal, and White beat Lethal. So White left with 6, Lethal left with 0.
All right. So here are my thoughts. Right. I've said it a number of times on this show. I like Jay Lethal. There have been moments where they want to tell the story of Jay Lethal getting back to his prime Ring of Honor self, right? They could have done it in this match. They didn't. Don't get me wrong. I love Jay White, but in my heart, I don't think that Jay Lethal should have 0 points, right? I think it would have been better if if Jay Lethal caught Jay White and Jay White could just spiral down to this oblivion of being back crack crazy. I think that would have been a great thing to see in his next match where he would do anything to win. But they chose what they chose, and it is what it is. Great match. It was kind of weird seeing heel versus heel. Like, neither one of y'all are going to be somewhat of a baby face. It's like who we cheering for? Both y'all are booing us and stuff. And so, but you love wrestling. It's good. It's lovely to see it. And then last but not least, people talking about Miro was the end because he wants to take the pin. Listen, until I know what the plans are for Miro in any capacity, I stand with Miro. I'm not saying that he should win everything, but he shouldn't be losing to a degree, right? So if he was in this tournament, what would be him? What would be him, right? Would he be a Brody King or would he be a Jay Lethal? That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean,
He would be
Jay
Andrade
White.
El Idolo.
What was that?
So he would be an Andrade El Idolo. That's who he will
Oh
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jay White has definitely been pushed more, obviously, than Jay Lethal has recently. I mean, the Jeff Jarrett faction, they get a fair amount of TV time, but Jay White came over from New Japan with this, kind of this aura and kind of like, he's Jay White, right? So, um,
Yeah.
and I guess at this moment in time, probably where their careers are in the stature of AEW, Jay White should be beating Jay Lethal, but that's because they've done Jay Lethal such a disservice so far in AEW. Like, I mean, I complain about how these guys have been booked and, why would they want to continue to do this? And at the same time, he must be okay with it, right? Because he wouldn't continue to stay and do it. So he's obviously getting something from it. At the same time, I feel bad because I'm a Jay Lethal fan and I think he deserves better than
Yes.
what he's been getting. It feels like in AEW, he's been booked really poorly. And if you're going to book him really poorly in AEW, then at least let him go to Ring of Honor and do what he does in Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? Let him go there and be the big
Right?
dog or BJ Lethal if you don't want him to do that on AEW television. So I don't know. I'm not sure why it feels like Jay Lethal's been kind of kept down. But this was a solid match. I mean, this is a good match as it should be. Both guys
Good
can
as
really
always.
wrestle,
Yeah.
and I wasn't surprised that Jay White got the win. I mean, I expected that.
And then someone had to explain this to me. So so there's no way Jay Lethal can win, right? But he still has
I
matches
don't
to
believe
compete
so.
in. But he still
Yeah.
has matches to be in the. So like for those other matches, what's the point? Like what would
Well,
be
he could
his
be spoiler in
prize?
theory. I mean, he could be spoiler. I mean, if someone is, let's say that someone's got 12 points or 15 or whatever you have to be to go into the finals, and they have to win this match against Jay Lethal to get those 3 points to go into the final. Jay Lethal could potentially beat them, and even though he only gets 3 points, he could keep them from getting the 3 points and knock them out, I suppose. So he could be a spoiler. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and now you're just kind of wrestling for the ability to not walk away without a zero, right? I mean, he doesn't want a
Yes.
zero. He doesn't want to be a zero. He doesn't want the zero at the end of the tournament. So, yeah, I
They're
don't know.
gonna New Japan it. Hanare during G1 tied. He could have went and faced the person he would have faced, he would have beat them. He got to the very end. They held his leg to get the count out, which he didn't get the points, and he lost.
Yeah,
So that means he didn't even get a chance to get to fight to get in there because him and the person was tied. He didn't get any points. All he needed to do was pin this dude, and this dude held his leg and let him get counted out so he wouldn't get anything.
yep.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last match of the night was for the AEW TNT title. Christian Cage, my boy, defeated Adam Copeland with the help of Nick Wayne's mom. And you know what? I agree. I
No,
wholeheartedly
no,
agree.
no. Cause cause people talking about, well, it's the villain for hitting Nick Wayne. Let's remember Nick Wayne gave Christian the chair to hit his mom and content her over high. So it
Listen,
ain't like
listen. Christian beat Nick Wayne in the beginning, right? But then in the end, he said, I'm trying to teach you a lesson. I'm trying to make you a better person. I'm trying to be your dad. Whereas Adam Copeland came in and was like, I'm trying to end your career. I don't care about you. After you called this boy in the initial promo a kid, so you essentially, under your words, just bashed the kid's head in.
how many 20-year-olds you call a kid?
Uh,
You still
Some
you still
a lot,
call
because a
them
lot of
my
them ain't got the
age.
mind. Listen, everybody ain't got common sense or book smart. That a lot of people don't have
I think this was perfect. I thought this was absolutely perfect. Is this the best match we can get from these two? No, and it shouldn't be. I think what it is they left a lot. They held a lot back. They gave what they could to make it interesting. They had the interference with Nick Wayne's mom. This is all leading to a bigger and better match between the two of them on a pay-per-view. I have no doubt about that. I mean, I thought this worked out perfect. I like the fact that they didn't give us the 5-star match that they're going to give us down the road here. I love that Christian used everything in his bag to try to win.
Yeah.
I kind of like that Nick Wayne's mom is now involved. Um, it kind of gives an extra spin on the story that I wasn't expecting, and I kind of like it. We'll see how long it lasts.
They didn't do the
I have a
makeout
feeling
spot
that
though.
she's, huh?
They didn't do the makeout spot. You're supposed to do the makeout spot on the ramp like Trish and Christian did after WrestleMania when they turned on Jericho. That's the
I
only
mean,
thing
he
that
can't
was
do that no
missing.
more. He a
She's
married man. He wearing a turtleneck.
she's
He got kids. He can't do that no more.
He got kids, but he
she's
ain't
gonna
married.
she's gonna end up turning on him at some point, which I'm here for. I mean, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I thought they did this really well. I people have been saying, oh, this isn't the best match they could have done, and I think they did that on purpose. I think that they did this right. I think you do a match that's really good, and you make people wanting more, and then you give them the 5-star match at the next, either the next one or the one after that. However you want to do this. I mean, you could potentially string this out to 3 matches. I mean, whatever. So I mean, I'm here for it. I mean, they left room to grow. I thought that's what I if you leave it all out there this time, then there isn't really anywhere to go from here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I felt like they held some in reserve, and we still got a lot more for them to show.
I like for me, it's been a minute since Adam Copeland has had a decent 15-minute match, right? So I think he did phenomenal in this match. Like, okay, he actually got some. You can actually go over 10 minutes, and actually it won't suck, right? Um,
Yeah.
can they have a better match? I'm gonna put that pressure on them, but if you can't show me, definitely. But yeah, you're in Canada. These two are like I applaud Christian for keeping the straight face because you can't tell me like you're in Montreal, Canada. Y'all are main eventing a show. Eh, You can't tell me
Yeah.
like this is kind of cool,
No, I mean,
and
this is
they
bucket list
delivered.
stuff for them, right? It has to
Yeah,
be. I mean, it's got to be, right? I mean,
right,
these are your dreams come true. Your childhood, you're in the ring on the one of the biggest platforms on the planet with your best friend doing what you dreamed of always doing. I mean, how much better can it get? Like, I mean,
right.
and everybody loves it. I mean, this the Christian story is by far, you know, top 3 stories AEW at the
Definitely.
moment. I mean, so and arguably maybe the best. I mean, people are going to argue over whether MJF stuff's going on is better or whatever, but it's debatable. But he's right there at the top. So I mean, there's got to be a dream come true. I mean, it can't be any happier than this. I mean,
Great match. Very good match.
Ladies and gentlemen, about to get out of here. We're gonna go through this real quick. Preview
yep.
for Rampage. AEW International Title Match. Orange Cassidy with Danhausen in his corner versus Angelico with Serpentico in his corner. Abaddon faces Trisha Dora.
Ooh.
The Don
Yeah, that's
Callis
gonna be fun.
family, Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobb, face Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. And then for the Continental Blue League, we have Brian Danielson versus Daniel Garcia, ladies and gentlemen.
I
That should be a
can't
good
Then,
show.
believe I can't believe they're putting that on Rampage. I really can't.
That
I
should be
know
a
it's
good show. I'm
condensed,
excited for that.
but yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, for AEW Collision, which we'll talk about. We're watching 3 shows that night. We have the Continental Classic Blue League, Eddie Kingston versus
Ooh,
Claudio
grudge match.
Castagnoli, Kenny King versus Kenny Omega. Sorry, I'm thinking about Kenny King. Kenny Omega versus Ethan Page, Wardlow versus Willie Mack,
Willie Mack.
Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes
Mm.
Martinez, Commander and Penta El Zero Mero versus Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. And for your Continental Classic Blue League match, Andrade Idolo versus Brian Danielson.
Very solid collision card. Should be a fun show.
Cliff note. What happened to the Commander Penta and Vikingo versus Top Flight with Andrade? How you feel? Andrade?
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
I
what
thought they
happened
were
to that?
supposed to do that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. That's a good question. I hope somebody didn't get injured.
Like, cause I was kind of hyped for that, but no.
Yeah,
Besides
I thought
that,
that they were. Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, interesting. Well, maybe we'll
okay,
get it somewhere down the road here.
I guess
Okay,
okay.
ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Go ahead, cut them
Please,
lights.
T.
please give kids a once in a lifetime moment. Click that out. Kids a once in a lifetime moment. They're trying to get to the road to WrestleMania 40, ladies and gentlemen. Here is our schedule for the week. Monday, you see the stars with me and Jay News. Tuesday, you see the cookout. The next two Tuesday, you get to see the Horsey Awards, and that is with the Nika, CM, ALW, and Sammy voting on their horsies. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday it's all for not everything AEW, and it's at 10:15 p.m. with Sammy and ALW. Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday at 10:15 p.m. It is Aftermath of Dynamite here with Anika and ALW. Boom! Talking all things AEW from reviews to previews. Then tomorrow, Friday night, fights is at 8 p.m., starting with SmackDown, moving into Rampage. The kids are running the asylum. It is Sammy and Anika running the whole show. Then you wake up at 11 a.m. on Saturday to the parents, keeping it short and sweet under the radar, where they talk BTE, ROH, MLW, Impact, all of these things, and they preview stuff. Saturday night. It's all right, our AEW Collision. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about that later. Why it's not just AEW Collision. Ladies and gentlemen, at Sunday at 11 a.m., you have entered the square circle. And when I tell you ALW and it to see who is going to be the Enter the Square Circle champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it is something you want to see. You cannot miss it. You cannot miss this action. Listen, if you miss it, you miss a day, you miss a lot. And it'll be going on all throughout our holiday break. Speaking of holiday breaks, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have a kind of staggered holiday break. Me and J News, we stop on the 18th and we come back on the 8th. Workhouse Wrestling Network stops on the 19th. They come back on the 2nd. Okay? So, again, from both of us, all of us, happy holidays, happy new year. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if you see this icon, the cookout on all platforms. We'll get back to what platforms, but if you listen to YouTube audio, you can listen to us live as the cookout is happening. See this icon? YouTube audio, watch alongs. If we watching anything, and I mean anything, you can listen along with us and have a good time because sometimes people got stuff to do. Okay? But with this icon is located on Amazon Music, YouTube Audio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Radio Republic. Let me say it again. Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube Audio, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we on all social media. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Say it again. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, on the channel, we have had two retro watch alongs, one with Sammy ALW, and then one with the whole game for Sammy's birthday. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday. You get a three-peat because everything starts at 8 o'clock. Impact Resolution, NXT Deadline, and AEW Collision all in one. Don't you miss it? Don't you miss it. And don't forget, there's been a slight schedule change. I understand, ladies and gentlemen. But around the time of WWE Hall of Fame, Workhorse Wrestling Network will be having their Hall of Fame, and they will have their inductees.
I got something to say real quick. Dolores tries to be subtle with stuff. Like she'll tell you, CM, ALW, Anika, and Sammy Joe's horsey pick. No, Dolores is making horsey picks and nomination as well. Don't let her try to convince you that she's getting out of it. She always try to do that. I got you. I see you. Always with the it's
Listen,
always
I
subtle,
have
but
made it
no,
clear.
you giving
I
your
made it
nomination.
very clear. I do graphics. I am not participating in the horse awards because I only got one brain cell left and I'm holding on to it. Okay. I think you all saw this week. I lost it for a minute and I had to pick it back up. So and when Sam was like 3, and I was like, you know what? Too much. My brain was like, too much, screaming, no, no, no. And I was like, okay.
All right.
But I support you all. I support you. I'll be in the booth looking. It'll be on my TV as I lay in the bed. I'll support you. I'll fight. I'm down to fight. Again, we learned today. You go left. We're going to turn down the left side highway with you. Okay?
All
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, as we all know, when it's time to go, we got to save on the power bill. Cut the lights out. It's got to go. As you all notice in the top corner, we always going to support the TWC. That's what we're going to do till they get to WrestleMania 40, okay? So, until then, we want to say peace.